If you're feeling tired, sluggish, and have no energy, in this video I'm going to show you how to boost your thyroid. Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And this is going to be a great video because there's so many of you out there, especially you ladies, who are struggling and suffering through a sluggish thyroid. Maybe you've been diagnosed with Hashimotos Thyroiditis, and maybe you've just been diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Well, I'm going to give you some tips today that'll show you how to naturally boost your thyroid with just good healthy food and some supplements. So let's go ahead and get started. And by the way, if you like what we're talking about, please make sure you like, share, and that's probably the most important thing you can do, because I know you know people out there, friends of yours, that are also struggling with either weight gain or unexplained. They don't know why it's happening. They don't know why they're tired and sluggish all the time. Maybe that's you. Please share this video out to friends of yours, because I know there's a whole bunch of people out there that really need to hear this information. And make sure you comment. I love to see your comments. And also click that little bell notification so you get notified anytime that I do a video. And if you're looking for some information about the ketogenic diet, check out my keto course down below. If you're looking to lose weight, feel great, get into shape of your life. And guys, if you're looking to take your health to the next level and you're looking to upgrade and get more optimized and be as healthy as God created you to be, look down below in the description. You'll see my link to my office. Just get in touch with us and we'll start to work together. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get started with how to boost your thyroid naturally. Well, first off, we need to understand a little bit about the thyroid. And thyroid really is basically a butterfly-shaped organ that sits right around here in the lower part of your neck in the front. And it's responsible for making T3, T4. You've heard about that. You've heard about that these are really what helps to regulate metabolism. It helps regulate temperature, and it helps to regulate your heart rate. So the thyroid gland does a tremendous amount for your overall health and well-being. And when it's not acting right, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Men out there too, you know you feel sluggish, you feel tired, you have no energy, maybe some brain fog, maybe you just feel cold all the time, and you're putting on weight and you don't know why. Your skin doesn't look good, your hair doesn't feel right. Well, ladies, men, follow through, watch to the end, make sure you look at every single one of these tips I'm going to give you, and I guarantee it'll start helping your thyroid. Well, some of the different symptoms that we see can be very numerous. In fact, many of you might not even experience symptoms early on, but it takes time for these symptoms to develop. First, you might notice symptoms such as weight gain. Don't know why, can't figure it out. You notice you're tired all the time, you're sluggish and so on, but you can't put it all together. You're not sure what's happening. In fact, some of you may be undiagnosed. Some of you may not realize it's your thyroid, but meanwhile, you might have some of these symptoms. Fatigue, if you're tired all the time, you're lethargic, you just can't seem to get going, or you need coffee just to get back to a level of tiredness, you might have a thyroid problem. Sensitivity to cold, you find that you're cold all the time, which is the exact opposite when you have hyperthyroid. Hyperthyroid, you're jittery and nervous all the time. You tend to have a lot of energy, sometimes nervous energy, and at the same time, you also tend to be running hot. Dry skin, constipation, weight gain, of course, puffy face, tenderness of muscles, achiness in the joints, and so on and so forth. Elevated cholesterol, it does affect how your cholesterol looks. So you might do a cholesterol profile and come back and you find out, hey, I've got high cholesterol. Why is this? And maybe not put it together where it could be your thyroid. Thinning hair, heavy or irregular menstrual periods for you ladies out there, slow heart rate, depression, impaired memory. So a lot of cognitive issues. You don't feel right. Your body's just not working right. You feel slow, like I said, sluggish and tired, and you can't figure out why. Well, it may be coming from Hashimotos Thyroiditis. Like I said, about 90% of the hypothyroid conditions come from this autoimmune disorder called Hashimotos Thyroiditis. So many things can cause hypothyroidism, but 90% of the time, it's coming from Hashimoto's. Like I said, this is an autoimmune disorder that attacks the thyroid, and autoimmune disorders are where your body basically is attacking itself, and many times you don't know why. So if we can do things, number one, to mitigate inflammation in the body and help with some of the different organ systems, we can help elevate the function of your thyroid, and that's what this video is really all about. But first and foremost, I want to tell you, The single most important thing you need to rule out is if it is a thyroid problem or not. So testing is always going to be the way to go firsthand. Now, I know many times you can self-diagnose and say, yeah, I've got those symptoms, Dr. Nick. I've got the issues with my skin or my hair. I'm tired all the time. My temperature is always low. I'm cold all the time. But that might not be the case. In fact, my wife is classic for this because we did a thyroid panel on her, a complete hormone panel, and we found that her hormones were actually pretty good. They really weren't, on the low end at all. In fact, they were middle range to just a little bit lower. So it really wasn't her thyroid. So we had to start ruling out other things with this. So make sure you're getting good lab testing done to make sure that your thyroid isn't an issue. And once again, you might have an issue where you say, hey, he's coming back saying I've got, perfectly fine thyroid stimulating hormone, but maybe your T3 is low. T3 is the active form of thyroid hormone. So you want to make sure you get yourself tested. So how do we make thyroid hormone before we get to all the good stuff? Because this really helps to show the trickle-down effect of if we start to support these underlying organ systems, we can actually help with your thyroid. So basically, the hypothalamus, which is right in the brain over here, that makes something called thyroid releasing hormone. It sends it to the pituitary. The pituitary, which is right over here, then sends thyroid stimulating hormone to the thyroid. And as you guessed it, it stimulates the thyroid to make thyroid hormone, okay? It makes T3 and T4. About 93% is in the inactive form. That means it's making it in T4, so your body can't use it. It has to get converted. About 7% is in T3 form, which is readily available and usable to the body. But this 93%, that's the one we want to improve on. Well, about 60% of it is converted right in the liver. So the liver takes it in. Liver is just a phenomenal organ. It does a lot of different things. But one of them is it converts T4 to T3, the inactive form to the active form. And about 20% of the T4 is converted into T3, but more what we call reverse T3. Reverse T3 is then excreted from the body. About 20% is made in the intestinal tract. So we can convert T4 to T3 in the actual intestinal tract. So that's where that happens. So we want to make sure the intestinal tract is working right. We want to make sure your liver is working right. You see how this all works? It's not just about taking some drugs. It's not about taking some supplements and things like that. Just, carelessly. We want to make sure we're doing things properly to make sure we're supporting these organs that help make active T3 thyroid hormone. So some of the different minerals and so on that we can take in that will help with this are things like selenium. Selenium is one of the best. Selenium, in fact, is very, very important when it comes to making thyroid hormone. It's also important because it has a lot to do with glutathione. Glutathione is your body's master antioxidant. So you need glutathione to make sure you keep the immune system of the body working right, keep the body detoxed to protect those systems, to protect the liver, to protect the gut. And by doing that, we actually help boost the thyroid function because we're working with the liver and the gut. Big important things is making sure that gut is healthy. So that's why so many of these different supplements we're going to be talking about in foods work a lot on the gut. So thyroid contains high amounts of selenium, and a deficiency can lead to thyroid dysfunction. Another one is iodine. We hear about that all the time. We're always making sure we have iodized salt. Well, pretty much all salt is iodized at this point. You want to make sure it's in a lot of the foods that you eat. So iodine is extremely, extremely important for thyroid function. In fact, currently, the only known role of iodine is for thyroid production or thyroid hormone production. So that's really, really important. The T3 and T4 thyroid hormones contain iodine in them. So very, very important when making sure we're getting adequate iodine. Zinc, required for the thyroid to produce hormones. Optimal concentration of zinc is needed so that way your body can make the correct amount of T3 and T4, and also has a lot to do with the thyroid stimulating hormone and its function there too. Also iron. Iron's required to turn T4 into the active form of T3. So ladies, you want to make sure you're getting plenty of iron, because if you're in your menstrual cycle years, you want to make sure you're getting iron in, because you're going to be depleted every time you have your monthly flow. Iron deficiency is always associated with thyroid dysfunction. Some more we're talking about here is vitamin B12. All B vitamins are important for that matter, but B12 is especially important because it's common in people with Hashimotos Thyroiditis. So you want to make sure that you're getting adequate amounts of B12 because it's definitely linked to people who have Hashimoto's there. Magnesium deficiency may increase your risk of developing Hashimoto's disease and is associated with elevated thyroid antibody levels. Also, we want to make sure we take in adequate amounts of vitamin D3, especially when combined with K2. You want to take those two together so you can get where they work symbiotically together. But vitamin D3, people with Hashimoto's are more likely to be deficient in vitamin D3 than your average population, and vitamin D deficiency can have adverse effects on thyroid function. So you want to make sure, once again, you're getting adequate amounts of vitamin D3. A lot of us aren't getting it because we're not in the sun. We're in climates where you're not in the sun a lot, or the sun only is really out certain times of the year where you can really get out into it and maybe take your shirt off, wear shorts, and get a lot of skin exposure and get some sun on your skin. So many of us are very, very deficient, especially if we're working in corporate buildings where we're, always under fluorescent lights. Curcumin. Now, curcumin or curcumin, however you like to pronounce it, very, very important. I did a video on this for other reasons. It's just an amazing, amazing antioxidant. So it protects your thyroid against oxidative stress, okay? So once again, the toxins we take in can cause stress to the thyroid. So you want to make sure that you're taking in adequate antioxidants. That's why selenium was so important when it comes to glutathione production. Plus, taking curcumin alongside other anti-inflammatory compounds may help reduce the size of thyroid nodules, which are common in Hashimoto's disease. So once again, curcumin is very, very important here. Next, I want to get into some different foods. So now we're looking at sea vegetables. Sea vegetables, very, very, very powerful. Why? Because they contain enormous amounts of iodine. In fact, probably the highest amounts of any different food on the planet. But seaweeds such as kelp, nori, and wakame are naturally rich in iodine, element found needed for normal thyroid function. You can put this on different foods. You can eat, of course, sushi. You can sprinkle it on salads. You could do whatever you like with this, but it's just a rich, rich source of iodine. Boosts glutathione production. Once again, it's going to help a lot with antioxidants, which is going to help to detox the body and, of course, detox the thyroid. Helps control blood sugar levels. Once again, blood sugar has a lot to do with inflammation in the body, so you want to keep the blood sugar levels down and help to keep that regulated. Anti-inflammatory, keeps coming back to this inflammatory reaction. Anything that causes inflammation to the body is going to cause damage to the thyroid. It's going to help to perpetuate that autoimmune disorder we're talking about. Virus protection also. Another thing are nuts. So I love macadamia nuts, I love hazelnuts, I love Brazil nuts. All of these are fantastic because they are great, great sources of selenium. And once again, as I said before, selenium is huge when it comes to glutathione production. It's extremely important in that process for detoxification. So you want to make sure you're getting plenty of selenium, and you can get it in these kind of nuts here. And you don't even need to eat a lot of them to be able to get the great benefits of this. I mean, just a small handful will typically give you enough selenium. Now, omega-3 fish, fatty fish, is also a huge, huge boost. Why? Because of its anti-inflammatory properties. We keep coming back to that. We keep coming back to making sure your gut is healthy and making sure we keep that inflammation down in the body so that way we don't stimulate any autoimmune responses. But foods such as salmon, cod, sea bass, haddock, and I love sardines. I literally eat sardines every single day, whether it be right out of the can, in a bowl with some vinegar, maybe some salt and pepper, some chopped up onion, chopped up celery, or sometimes I put it in a salad to make like a Mediterranean salad with some feta, with some tomatoes, some cucumbers, some red onion, and make a nice little salad out of it. It's just amazing. My mouth is watering literally just thinking about it. So get all these oily fish into your body, sardines, and like I said, anchovies, things like that too. They're fantastic. Also, eggs. Yes, when I was growing up, we always saw the commercials, the incredible edible egg, and then all of a sudden eggs got a bad rap because people were saying they were just too loaded with cholesterol, but that's not the case. In fact, just so you know, I've done videos on this before, about 80% of all the cholesterol in your body is made by your liver. So your liver makes it for a reason because it knows it's important for all body functions. In fact, your brain has about 25% of all the cholesterol in your body is in your brain. So very, very important. So don't be afraid to eat eggs. In fact, the yolk is probably the best part. It's got the most nutrients, the most important part. So eggs contain both selenium and iodine, so you want to make sure you get lots of that. I eat at least probably 4 eggs a day, sometimes more. If I'm just in a lazy mood and eggs are just so easy to make, I could have anywhere from 4 eggs to a dozen eggs in a day if I have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I don't recommend you do that unless you like eggs a lot, but don't worry about the cholesterol. You're going to be perfectly fine. But selenium and iodine, just load it up with it. Coconuts, I tell you what, anytime you can get coconut into your system, it's going to be a plus. Whether you put it in snacks, whether you put it in a smoothie, whether you cook with it, coconut oil, coconut milk, coconut flour, great for anything. It's just fantastic. In fact, I made a hamburger the other day where I used some coconut flour in it because I just threw an egg inside of it, you know. So instead of just making a beef patty like I normally would, I just said, you know what, let me throw a little bit of egg in it. I had to dry it up a little bit with some coconut flour. It was fantastic. So coconut converts to ketones very, very rapidly. So anytime we can start to boost metabolism, it's going to be good for the thyroid too. So because we can convert coconut oil to ketones so quickly, the MCT converts so fast that it helps to elevate and boost our metabolism. So that's a plus for your thyroid. Next is bone broth. Because of the fact that bone broth is so healthy for your gut, and like I said, anytime we can help gut health, we know that about 20% of the T3 conversion happens in your gut. So you want to make sure you have a healthy gut. So bone broth is fantastic for gut health, helps with skin and hair, nails, of course, because of the collagen, but also too, it helps to convert T4 to T3 in your gut by making sure your gut stays healthy. It's good for the tight junctions. It's good for the bacteria. It's overall fantastic for repairing the gut, so you want to make sure you're getting bone broth. Not only that, grass-fed butter and ghee. Now, if you have issues with butter because of the casein, you know, and the proteins in it, you want to make sure that you use ghee. Ghee is going to be a whole lot easier for you to digest, just in case you have allergies. So use ghee, and ghee is just basically clarified butter. It's been clarified a couple of times, so it gets super clarified. But it's just fantastic to cook with, has a high smoking point, really, really good for you. It's got great source of vitamin A, great omega-3 fats, selenium, zinc, and magnesium. And once again, it's great for gut health. Anything we could do for the gut, for the liver, to reduce inflammation, to reduce the autoimmune response is going to be a plus. Fermented foods, another one, once again, great for gut health. You know, we don't eat enough fermented foods to help build the gut bacteria, the microbiome, which, by the way, you have more bacteria in your body than you do cells. So your body is basically a bag of bacteria. Not to sound gross, but it really kind of is that way. You have about 10 times more bacteria that we need in order to convert B vitamins and other vitamins, help us digest our foods. So we want healthy gut bacteria. It's always a plus. And you get that a lot with your fermented vegetables. We don't eat enough of that in any given day. I make a lot of kimchi, so I've got a recipe for kimchi on my channel. You can find that too. But kimchi's fantastic. You got your prebiotics, you got your probiotics. You got all the different bacteria in it. I love it. It's fantastic. You don't have to make it hot either. You can make it, you know, mine tastes more like pickles. You can eat a lot of pickles. You can pickle your vegetables. Once again, helps with digestion. Fantastically rich in B vitamins. We need these bacteria, these friendly bacteria, our gut buddies, to actually help make B vitamins in our bodies. So very, very important. And last but not least, once again, comes back to the gut. Apple cider vinegar. One of the causes of hypothyroidism is also low stomach acid. So if we can start to boost and elevate our stomach acid a little bit, it's going to be a plus. So apple cider vinegar is great at that, helping to boost stomach acid. It's got great probiotics in it. And also, too, I did a video on this. You can probably find that on my channel, too. So, guys, I hope you try out some of these tips. If so, let me know what your comments are. If you've tried some of these out, if they worked for you, or if you've already been doing them, let me know that in the comments section. Also, too, let me know what you think about the video. I'd love to hear comments. Just be nice. I'm kidding. Anyway, guys, I love and appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, make sure you share this out. I know you know at least 4 or 5 friends that have issues with their gut, issues with their thyroid. They're feeling slow and sluggish and tired. Be a hero. Share this video out to them. Thanks so much for subscribing. I appreciate you guys, your support. And if you like this video, make sure you check these other ones out too. Anyway, guys, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.